Welcome back to MySQL database for 31st class and 31st chapter of MySQL database. Alright, so here we'll discuss about indexes, and actually it's index, and the plural is actually indices, but we call it indexes. Okay. So here, okay, you know what? Guess what? That's fine. Remember yesterday we had some functions and procedures ran. Remember? So these things got added up here. If you see here, it shows the values here. What functions did we add here? Okay, so it's like table. You get added by table. Procedures, we added new store procedure. We can view that. Let's see. All right, so this is this is the procedure which we added. Actually, fortunately it is working here. That's good. You can create your own procedures, but this is just an example. This is a joke, but you could understand something from here actually. Okay, you can create new from here, but it's whenever you download, you have to actually most probably you have to download MySQL database to run it properly, because the reason, right, this online thing doesn't have completely, and it doesn't have complete access actually. So small things you can run it here, but for complex queries, like subroutines, procedures works here well, but not just procedures, functions, and subroutines, and as well as for inline views and nested subqueries. Remember, nested subqueries was not working here because access denied. I was like, what? How would you deny an access for nested subquery? It's not even admin, it's like you are trying to select statement. So it's saying like access denied. So that's not good. So we'll go to see here a little bit. Here is the designer. Ooh, we have got a lot of complex here. This gets more complicated in when you workplace. This is nothing. The workplace, you may not have access to this. Okay, you may not have access to all this, but if you're going as an admin, yes, database admin, MySQL database admin, you might have all this access, because this is, this belongs to this, so put it here. Okay, see here, lot of relationships. So what I'm trying to show up here is, you have this relationships. The reason, what's relationship? That means the foreign key is related to primary key, and the primary key is related to foreign key, and candidate's key, and all those things, surrogate's key. Okay, those things are computer generated. We don't see that. So that's not the point. The point is, here you can see a lot of tables here in this database. So this is a database, and this is the relationship. This is where you see which data is moving for which, and which relationship is moving. See, there's a green color, blue color, those denote something. As such, I'm not exactly sure what is that, but it's supposed to be, or might be something else, but here it's supposed to be this. The key is show here, this is a primary key, and the key here is supposed to be foreign key, but we are not relating to that, we are relating to something else. So I have to remember that. Okay, let's go back to SQL here. We don't that is for admin guys, the people who are database administrators, who actually handle those things. who knows this architect point of view. There is a database architect also. Wow, there is MySQL database architect. So this tutorial actually explains a lot of things. So this tutorial is very broad but very narrow too at the same time, because I'm not discussing everything, but I'm just giving you a hint in everything. We discuss about functions, we discuss about procedures, that's not everyone does. We discuss about designer, that's the architect guys, those are database administrator, and architect people does that. Procedures, functions, architect people, and developers, and select, that is testers. So the point is that a lot of people involved only accessing one database. There is a SQL tester, yes, I was a tester, so I'm not, I was the ETL tester, so okay. So tester, there's a developer, MySQL developer, okay, and there is architect, MySQL architect. I don't know, there might be MySQL architect, and there are some process complex procedures and stored subroutines. They might be doing all this stuff, okay. And there is a database administrator which creates users, deletes users, production mirroring. They do lot of they have altogether lot of other work too. So my tutorial is actually kind of covers all of them, but it's kind of jack of all, master of none. So we are actually covering a lot of things, but we are not into any specifics. So I'll name it as tutorial for MySQL database. So you have some broad range of how the database works, but you can jump in any, like you can jump into tester, you can jump as a developer, you can jump as an architect, you can jump as a administrator, because you have knowledge in all the above. So okay, that's the introduction part. So yeah, that's good. So let's go to indexes and keys. Okay, so how to create an index? We don't have to create index. No, why we have to create index? Oh yeah, we have to create index. So the reason we have to create index is, as I told you, right? Let's say we have done this in previous class. I'll just explain you. So this is 31. Let's say this is. Let's take an example to explain you what these indexes are. Let me give you this real-time example. This is a handout for you, right? Now, I want chapter number 31 because I'm discussing about 31. So what I'm telling to this 31, I want just write this one or two. There you go. That's what the indexes does. You click on that index, it goes into that particular page, 111. That's the job of the index. So that's what the index does, and that's what it is. Alright, now creating indexes for which is that the question. So we are, what's wrong with this? So every day is some other issue. Okay, so we are creating index here called index underscore name on my underscore table. Oh, really, there's no mine underscore table. How you are going to create that? Too bad. Okay, they're supposed to be my table. This is my table. Okay, let's just look at it. So there is too bad. Let's take it as EMP table. EMP table, I have created an index. Remember. So why not we create an index for another column? So we have created employee name. So we'll just create another index for MGR, so manager, or yeah, we'll just create for manager. So this thing again, not again. Alright. Okay, so we just restart it. So issues. There's always an issues. So okay, great. Alright, so we just select this database and go ahead. This. Okay, and here what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create an index on manager. Let's say I am putting index on. There's nothing called my table, my underscore table here, so that doesn't work. This query won't work. Okay, So we had a hard time with syntax, so I'm not going to repeat the syntax issues again. Okay, so here mgr. Okay, now this is supposed to create an index for, we already created an index before, that's for employee. Now we are creating the index for mgr. So what we are telling here is create index called idx name. I don't want idx name actually. I'll put in mgr actually. You know what? Yeah, put this mgr so that I know which. Alright, so let's see what it does. Yeah, so it did created indexes for us. Index basically only for one thing. So let's find out. Oh, here it's not showing up because you want to refresh it. Refresh next time, but we'll find out. Okay, here let's go ahead and click on this, and here you go, manager. So what we did was we created an index called mgr. So we know why did we create index. Of course we want to this is okay. So the reason you need this index is because indices, actually, you know, in English, if you talking good English, it's indices, indices, not indexes. Okay, but you have to deal with technical, so no. Okay, these technical people, right? They invent their own thing. So okay, so here, you know, we created an index. That's good. So why do we need index? The first question, as I told you, for the performance. If you drop index, so very big thing, when you query, it will take, if you have millions of records and you want to query it, it will take forever, and that's not good for performance. It puts heavy on the server, and when you're, especially when you're dealing with production environments, no, that's not even advisable. So okay, great. So you know what, we just created a unique. Now similarly you can create an unique indexes. Okay, so it's similar to index, and what it does, let's find out. Null values can be inserted into industry. Okay, so you can also create unique indexes. Okay, the similar way you can do that. Only thing is just put in unique. So okay, let's go to the next section, that is auto increment key. So here so we have done this auto increment, right? When we created a table, we have just an auto increment. So that's a function, an auto increment. So we have done that, right? So we'll skip this because if you go to the previous class, when we created a table, remember we created a table, let's say, which table was that? People has tables. Let's see in your columns. Yeah, ID. Okay, so this was auto incremented when we wait. Can we see the SQL actually here? I don't think it's SQL. Too bad. Yeah, we did this. Insert. You can export here. There's a lot of things you can do here, but it's not the point. We're looking for the query what we actually executed. I might have this. So we can also add triggers. We didn't go with the triggers. So okay, so we did create an auto increment. So it's just a function when you create a table. That's it. You know, that means whenever you insert a new key, if you forget it, it will automatically increment to 1. Okay, that's what it means. Auto increment means if you are creating some inserting some data. So this is inserting data manually. Okay, manually through MySQL. But normally the data what you is the customer's data. Okay, normally you have to deal with the customer's data. Normally don't mess around with creating data here. Okay, that is for your understanding, and yeah, it might be required some places, not everywhere. Yeah, might be some places, but normally the data is supposed to be inserted by customers, and those data will be here, and you just get the data and manipulate the data. But not the data. You don't manipulate always the data. You manipulate the metadata. That means you try to see the columns, what columns need to be added, which keys needs to be added, which columns need to be updated, and all those kind of things. So that's the thing. Okay. All right. So that's about auto increment. Auto increment means we increment. Oh, we lost that SQL actually. Okay, let's put that SQL back. ngr on emp table. Okay, we'll just put it as a handout for you. So this is 31. And this is index SQL. I'm putting extension as SQL because normally whenever you import, okay, or export, it goes into SQL. So okay, so here when you do this, okay, let's go to the next step, that is create composite index. Okay, like composite primary key, remember you could add multiple columns for one primary key. Similar way you can also create multiple index here. So here is using the where class and put the column. So here, so let's do this. Okay, no, why not. Let's do this as a sake of example to create. Yeah, this will work. We will have no more. Don't want to create any more syntax issues. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is let's do this. Let's put indexes to car. Do we have car? There's only one index, that is for primary. Okay, now too bad. Okay, so name and price. I'll create an index for name and price. Now let's do how we'll do that. Okay, so on the table name car, which column? On column is name and well as price. So I'm creating multiple indexes for one table. Okay, that means you can put multiple columns in indexes. And hold on, there's something wrong here. So why is this showing this? I would put it's supposed to be 2, right? But let's put index. Can't use that one. Sorry. We'll use something called name, because you're putting name underscore price, your birthday. So we will be using this one. This should be good. Yeah. Let's try it on. Let's see if it works. It did, and the zeros are also affected. And you see here, we don't see here until you refresh it. Let's refresh it. Ooh, I did a mistake here. I was supposed to copy this. Okay, see here, multiple. Now you got this name and 2 columns are here. So here you see these 2 columns. So what, see, I'm creating one index for these two columns. I can create any number of columns. Okay, so please use SQL. Yeah, I want SQL. Oh, this is a SQL. Oh, interesting. Okay, never mind. So let's modify MySQL here. Name underscore, oops, sorry, name underscore price, and on which table did I execute this? Is car name, right? So here what I did was, you don't require this. If you have multiple queries, yeah, you require this semicolon, otherwise you don't. For multi, you can create indexes for multiple columns, you know, and you can do that. So that's about indexes, and you can drop index too. Similarly, like you drop tables, delete data, all those things, you can also drop indexes. And let's do that. Okay, so because we have created it, so we will drop it. So it's like drop index. Which index do you want to drop? Let's find out. We will drop the TMP one. It's employee table. Yeah, this TMP and MGR, right? We'll just drop this, but we'll just see this. Okay, what's the index name? The index name we put as MGR, and drop index MGR on table name. Which table? EMP. That's it. And this gets, you know, should supposed to give confirmation, but it doesn't give confirmation, I guess. Yeah, it didn't give confirmation because it gives only confirmation for tables, but not for indexes. Not sure why. And in real, when you're using the SQL, real SQL, you have to have this commit and rollback option. So rollback an option also is there. That means if you made a mistake, you can roll back. Okay. Now you can still see here manager until you refresh it. So we'll just refresh it. SQL. Oh, did save that SQL? See here, that's thing gone. This thing gone. Drop index and what is that? MGR on EMP. Yeah, we don't require this. So this was our SQL index. So that's pretty much on this index thing. Okay, so that's all about indexes. You can create index, but normally you don't want always to create index unless you are a database administrator or architect guy. You create indexes. I never created indexes. I don't want to create index because it's up to the job actually. You know, if you want some database administrator job, so you want to do all this, but you know, otherwise you don't do all this. You know, this is administrator work, and you know, it's kind of different thing actually. So that's pretty much. So we'll go to the next class. So see you in the next class, and I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching.